Okay, will capitalism survive? Will they eventually not be so? Are they angry about the way that Wall Street's been conducting business for the last 20 years and not want to be part of that club, or is this all part of the democratization where finally they embrace the way that Wall Street does raise capital for companies?
I think they're angry because they were shunned for so long. But you have to recognize there's something great about what's happening now. Forget about take yesterday and just throw it in the garbage out of context the last couple of days, because, again, that's just the underbelly, the defining moment type thing. What's really happening here is that instead of finance waiting instead of people turning onto finance or becoming engaged in finance when they're 40, 50, 60 or whatever, they're finally starting to learn and figure out, hey, this is really cool. And so we have an entire generation now, which is not only going to support capitalism, it's going to accelerate the growth of free markets and capitalism and massive amounts of liquidity so that, everybody out there is going to benefit. I mean, you're going to benefit. I'm going to benefit. The private equity is going to benefit, and all the markets are going to benefit. This is the best thing to happen to kind of the global economy in, I don't know, I can't even, probably in 3 or 4 decades. So this is a massive move that I don't think can be reversed. You're not going to see situations like the perfect storm of what happened in GameStop or something like that. You're not going to find a company that's in a situation where it can create that kind of a disastrous panic to the upside. But I think that in general, the move of getting young, not necessarily kids, but millennials engaged in finance is transformational for sure.
Hey, Tom, we've been talking about this conversation that I had with Vlad last night all morning. We talked about trying to find this clip about this liquidity issue itself. Yep. I want to play it to you right now and just get your reaction as somebody who's in the business, who understands the dynamic at play.
Sure, go ahead.
There was no liquidity problem. And to be clear, this was done preemptively. So we did this proactively, and thousands of other securities remain tradable on the platform. Customers that held these positions were able to sell them. And we're doing what we can to allow buying and to remove these restrictions in the morning.
Do you look at this as a liquidity crisis?
I listened to this interview. It was done quite well, and I understand where Vlad's coming from with it. I think that it was more of a regulatory crisis than it was a liquidity crisis, meaning that I do believe that they had pressure from regulators that probably came in and said, listen, we just want to make sure you have enough net capital to support, everything that's going on here. And I think that if you're asking me, and I don't know, because it's like asking the coach of the Chicago Bears what you think about the Green Bay Packers quarterback. But I think that if you're looking at the situation, I would say they probably panicked a little bit. And you don't ever want to shut down trading. But I don't know if that had to do with risk. I don't really know, anything about their technology. So it's really hard for me to say. But I think it was a little bit of maybe a panic, but we'll see. I'm not sure.
But is there a business model issue? Meaning, this was an important point that Becky and Joe were raising earlier. Is this a business model issue in terms of growing pains as a startup, not having enough of a capital base, or is this something else that's inherent to the model?
Sometimes when firms like Robinhood go self-clearing, you take on a little bit, you obviously go for higher. It means you can internalize your revenue. So it means that there's more money that drops to the bottom line. But in the process of doing that, you get into a space, the clearing side, which is not generally your expertise. And it's not something you generally get paid for, other than whatever you're able to internalize. So I think what happened is it's part of the growing pains that they're experiencing from going self-clearing.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.